Scrolls fans, welcome to Scrollscast. My name is Smogan. Today we have two players that I don't normally have the pleasure of having on Scrollscast. Darkwizard, an up-and-coming player, currently at about number 30 on the ladder, looking to break into the top 20, and Raytional, who is always floating around the top 10, currently I think ranked number 5 or so. So this should be a really good matchup. We see that Darkwizard is playing a Mono Decay build. The Mono Decay is in a strange place right now. Players are still reacting to the nerfs that came with Poison and a few other scrolls, trying to figure out what the best build is. Raytional, though, is playing a Mono Energy range build, his standard deck, his patented deck. I'll look forward to seeing how that does against Darkwizard, who does have a turn 2 Ilmire Tribesman and then several answers to this Dust Runner in his hand as well. Note that he played the creature before the answer. This is because Dust Runner was on 2 countdowns, so he had time to decide on the best course of action and get that creature's countdown going. So good play by Darkwizard. Raytional follows up with a turn 2 Hired Smuggler. Excellent start for him. Darkwizard, though, with first turn advantage, is able to get a Soul Steal off before Raytional's Dust Runner can get an attack going. And now Raytional needs to figure out how to react. Has a Gun Auto, Spark Burn, and Tempest Reaver in hand. On this turn, he'll go up to 3 resources, and he'll probably go ahead and play out that Gun Automaton for the same reason that Darkwizard played the creature before the removal. And he plays it to protect his Hired Smuggler. Unfortunately for Raytional, Darkwizard has yet another answer. He can play a Languid on this Hired Smuggler, and he almost certainly will. And there it is, comes down, draws him a Harvester off the cantrip. That makes the Hired Smuggler obviously much less effective. And now with his units, Darkwizard is able to threaten Raytional's Gun Automaton, and Raytional will need to find an answer to that. Currently, with what it has in hand, not a great set of options. He can at least spark the Mire Shambler and set his Gun Auto up to at least get 1 attack off. And then maybe he goes up to 4 resources, or he sacrifices for scrolls. Really no slam dunk play here, so we'll see what he decides to do. He'll look to get the Hired Smuggler. Oh, this is a clever play. He actually goes ahead and plays the Machinated on the Hired Smuggler. That takes down the Ilmire Tribesman and also gives the Hired Smuggler some value going forward, even with the Languid. So still has 3 countdown and only 2 health, but at least got 1 attack off and will be maybe able to draw a scroll in a few rounds. Darkwizard needs to figure out how to stack it so that his Mire Shambler is most likely to go down into the Gun Auto. Made it a 50-50 shot. Unfortunately for him, the Mire Shambler went up and actually exposes the Rot Eater, but Burn takes care of it anyway. So that draws him a Violent Dispersal. Now Raytional will need to sacrifice one of these powerful scrolls, gets rid of the Violent Dispersal, finds 2 more 3-drops, now has 2 Stormrunners and a Canonetta in hand. And we'll see if he wants to try to chase his opponent's Mire Shambler or if he wants to stay down in row number 4. This is actually a pretty important decision. If he stays down here, he's giving up a little bit more board control, but he's not able to threaten Darkwizard's position at the top. But the concerning thing is, even if he stays down here with the Mire Shambler's move tricks, he can probably get it down to get that attack off. So I'm not sure that Raytional is safe wherever he goes. So with that in mind, I would probably go ahead and establish in the middle. And it does seem like a long turn. I'm going to make sure that the Spectator bug did not happen again. It's pretty common, unfortunately, and it looks like it did. Alright, we're back live. Well, maybe not. The Spectator bug that I run into is that sometimes the game will just freeze and count down to 0, and we won't get to see what the players actually did until you rejoin the game. But it looks like maybe Raytional just had to step out for some tea or something as we wait for his units to decide what to do. It looks like they'll just stay in place. Gun Auto gets an attack off for 2 over to Darkwizard. Has a Cursed Presence in hand. This is a recently reworked scroll. It's an interesting one, but it is sacrificed for 2 additional scrolls. Darkwizard will only be able to play out 1 card from his hand. I would like to see that Harvester go ahead and come down, and that's what he does. Plays it behind his Mire Shambler, and he's in a position to actually wreak a lot of damage on Raytional right now. Let's see. If Raytional had a Bombard, he could do some really great work here, but he doesn't have it. Goes ahead and goes up to 5, plays Oculus Cannon in front, so that'll protect both of his units from combat damage for now. And actually with the Oculus Cannon's a nice little counter to the Mire Shambler, who will have to move into it in order to get that attack off. We'll probably see Soul Steal come down on the Hired Smuggler, and that's what happens. So that's popped and another Shambler in place. Darkwizard has Bloodline Taint and a Ripper in hand. So let's see, what can he do here? Probably, goes ahead and sacrifices the Bloodline Taint for 2 scrolls, finds a Malevolent Gaze, which is an interesting scroll. With that, he could, let's see, what's he trying to do here as he stacks these units? Is he going to gaze on the cannon? No, he plays out a Ripper and gets the guaranteed 3 damage on the cannon. So that will lead to the death of the Mire Shambler, and it also exposes the Harvester to 2 damage from the Gun Automaton, and if there's a spark or any other... Oh, and there's that spark. Perfect timing for that, so that can take out the Harvester. But Raytional, actually this is another intelligent move, goes ahead and just deals the 2 damage, plays out the Gravelock Elder, and now he can spark at his convenience, because it's unlikely that Darkwizard will be able to trigger 3 deaths and get an attack off from the Harvester. Infectious Blight comes down on the Gravelock Elder, so he will slowly die over the next 5 turns, or maybe just the next 2 turns with Curse Presence in play. Darkwizard stacks to defend his Harvester, and that's 3 weak units. A Thunder Surge off the top would have been phenomenal for Raytional, but didn't quite find it. Let's see, what's he going to draw here? Oh, he draws the Thunder Surge, but can't get up to 6 resources yet. So his play right now is going to be a Spark likely on the Harvester. If not this turn, then in the very near future. He could play out just another Gravelock Elder, but instead decides on playing a Forge, and then there's that Spark. Goes ahead and takes out the Harvester before it can get a major attack off. And that will be his turn. Of course, he's waiting patiently. Maybe there's some chatter. Looks like Raytional's dealing with some disconnect problems. So going forward, what is Raytional's strategy going to be? Well, clearly he's going to want to get this Gravelock Elder out. With 2 of those in play, that's 2 very strong units out on the board that Darkwizard is going to have to invest Damning Curse or similar power to take out. Cursed Presence will be able to take out the one with this Infectious Blight, but the other one's still going to be running around. With Thunder Surge in play, Darkwizard is at that stage of the game where he'll start playing around that either way, knowing his opponent can get up to 6 easily. So I doubt we'll see him make too many clump plays like he did last turn. Darkwizard does play out that Curse Presence, still has another Harvester in hand. I want to see him sacrifice first, but he goes ahead and plays out his scrolls, moves into the middle, so that'll take out this Oculus Cannon. I don't think there's a way he can guarantee to kill the Gun Automaton, so really needs to think about what to do with this Mire Shambler. He's also kind of in a... Oh, and it ends up moving up, so that will expose the poor Ripper to be ripped to shreds by the Gun Automaton's bullets, but the Gravelock Elder dies, passes the Infectious Blight over to the Gun Auto. Bombard in hand for Raytional. Of course, that is an absolutely key scroll for this deck. What we might see this turn is a Thunder Surge come down, and then that with the Gun Auto's attack would take out both of these units. That would be a nice 2-for-1 play there. But actually, Raytional goes ahead and sacrifices the Thunder Surge. Perhaps he's thinking Stormrunner Bombard. That would do about the same thing. But no, he's just going to go ahead and play out the Gravelock Elder, saving the Bombard, perhaps intelligently so, and just getting a strong unit out on the board. Darkwizard sacrifices and finds Rot Eater and Tribesman, so finally some units. You can see how this Decay deck is a little bit different from traditional Decay builds. Still has the same core creatures, but the spells are all different. They're more of those narrow utility spells and curse spells rather than the just strong poison-based removal. Still has Infectious Blight, but I haven't seen any Brain Lices yet. I'll be interested to see if he's playing it now that it's up to 4 cost. Raytional has sacrificed for scrolls, still on 6 resources, can go Stormrunner Bombard. Can't get the Machinated in there, but can he get major killage? I don't think he can get this Harvester taken down with the Stormrunner Bombard play. He could, though... I don't even think he could take out the Rot Eater. With my math, he would not be able to. But, well, yeah, he probably would. It would probably take out these 3 units. It would trigger the Harvester if I'm doing my math correctly, which is pretty darn scary. He might lose a big chunk of his row. But of course, with that Infectious Blight in front, maybe that's not the worst thing. But actually, it looks like he's content to wait a turn, plays out a Hired Smuggler instead. So that means next turn he can do Machinated Bombard and get that Stormrunner to kill pretty much anything he wants it to. Infectious Blight number 2 for Darkwizard, but instead Cluster Hex comes down, so that actually curses quite a few units. All these guys in the middle get a curse laid on them. and he can't follow that up with anything too impressive, just a loyal Darkling. And the Mire Shambler moves up yet again. He's really punishing that top idol. Gun auto pops, and the Infectious Blight spreads to the Stormrunner. Now, Stormrunner is sacrificed, finds Ekamaton. I think Bombard Machinated might be the play here, because with that he can take out quite a few things, and that's what we're going to see. Machinated, Bombard, we'll get a scroll draw off the Hired Smuggler down here, and we're going to see, well, only 2 units killed, but the Elmire Tribesman will drop to 1 health, and those are 2 very important units killed. Oh, and actually the Hired Smuggler moves up to kill the Darkling rather than drawing a structure scroll. Alright, turn over to Darkwizard, looking to recover from just losing most of his board presence. Sacrifices his 3rd Harvester, so no Harvesters will be in play until the deck resets. Has the Infectious Blight Curse Presence combo, though, so that will, with the other curse, one-shot this Gravelock Elder for 6 damage. And Raytional figuring out what to do here. We'll want to get something, well, I guess this Stormrunner is going to die anyway. He could Violent Dispersal it and take out both of, ooh, Desperation, that's going to be the play. Desperation will come down on this Stormrunner, so that'll kill it, and render both these Infectious Blights irrelevant. They are now gone off the board, so Raytional's army will be much, much safer now. Ekamaton comes down in front of the Forge, and Gun Auto moves to protect the Hired Smuggler. Turn over to Darkwizard. Good turn by Raytional. Darkwizard has 2 strong 5-drops in hand, will only be able to pick one, needs to sacrifice the other. Offense versus defense, he chooses the offense with a Life Stealer and finds 2 Rippers to go with it, so he can play out one of those Rippers right away. And now, let's see if that stupid Mire Shambler will come down, and he forces it to. Well stacked, so that will actually take out both of these units. Well done by Darkwizard. Raytional made a slight mistake there. What he should have done probably is move the Hired Smuggler down behind his Forge to be safer. But perhaps he didn't anticipate 2 units coming down to force that super strong Mire Shambler, who's done a lot of work this game, off those Soul Steals to get that kill. Another Forge comes down, still on 3 resources for Raytional, can pump out another Gun Auto if he so chooses. Darkwizard's recovered nicely from losing his strongest units to the Bombard near wipe. Has made some good movement off that, and Desperation comes down, taking out the Mire Shambler. Finally, a Witch Doctor for Darkwizard. No matter what Decay deck you're running, you want Witch Doctors in there. That is the absolute heart and soul of the build. Witch Doctor will come down, I'm sure this turn somewhere in between all of these units. Just got to think about how best to protect it. And it looks like he's okay losing the Tribesman to this Ekamaton. Witch Doctor comes down, touching everything. Spark Burn, though, is the perfect combo to take it out, as is Violent Dispersal comboing with itself to take out that Witch Doctor. So that will be Raytional's play, I'm sure. Gets rid of the Spark. Violent Dispersal will come down to take out the Witch Doctor. Cannot let that thing survive. Though he could, if he's scared of this Life Stealer, take that out this turn, because that is ready to attack. But yeah, safer play is taking out the key unit, the Witch Doctor. Takes down the Tribesman as well with the combat damage, and the Gun Auto spawns in the correct spot potentially to protect the Forge, though maybe he would have rather his Ekamaton be protected based on his movement. Mire Curse is in hand, a decent option for Darkwizard, but best play of this turn is of course playing out the second Witch Doctor, getting that going, and the Life Stealer goes ahead and eats that recently spawned Gun Auto. Ekamaton lives to see another day. Canonetta, burn, Dust Runner for Raytional, also can pump down his Forges, lots of choices. Needs to figure out how to kill the Witch Doctor as soon as possible. Finds an Ironclad Reaver and another Bombard in hand. Canonetta played out as well, and just goes ahead and ticks down the Forge, so that'll spawn a Gun Auto. Ekamaton moved up to the front and passes the turn over to Darkwizard. One key downside, of course, to Decay is they're rather predictable as a faction. For the most part, you know, unless they have Harvester tricks, when they are attacking, and Raytional knows they are not attacking this turn, so he can go ahead and take the opportunity to build up his board. Darkwizard does have some tricks up his sleeve, one of those being Mire Curse, which will take out this Ekamaton and perhaps expose the Canonetta a little bit more. What else is going to come down here? Note the third Witch Doctor in hand. Can't play it this turn, but can certainly play out Tribesman. And Malevolent Gaze, if he chooses, he could freeze this Canonetta in place, as well as giving it Curse 2. Kind of a nice scroll, actually. It's been overshadowed by the more powerful removal, but it might find a place in more curse-heavy decks. What can Raytional do now? Darkwizard's really built up a strong board presence. What can he do here? I don't see anything super impressive. Why is he 6 out of 7? Not sure why that would be. Oh well. Could try to find a bombard play. He could actually do Dust Runner, Burn on the Witch Doctor, Bombard. No, that even wouldn't do it. Burn played out, takes out the Ripper, draws him a scroll, spawns a Husk for Darkwizard though. Finds Tick Bomb, which is not what Raytional wants right now. Let's see, goes up to 3 out of 8 and just pumps his Automaton Forge and moves his gun auto from the top down to row number 2, and content just to unfortunately be in a position where he can lose things if Darkwizard gets to pick what to kill. And it looks like Darkwizard's going to take out both units rather than the Forge, intelligently so. Moves the defensive tribesman in front of the Witch Doctor, and another Witch Doctor is played out. Combat damage comes in. Raytional is gaining quite a bit of advantage off of these Forges, but still is definitely behind on board. Really needs to think about how he's going to come back into this game. He needs to find more removal, but there's just not very much removal in the game that can deal with the 5 health Witch Doctors. Ironclad Reaver is a decent option if it can get some hits in. Tempest Reaver, so he's got both these Reavers in play, that can pack a punch. And the Husk is taken down. Another Mire Curse for Darkwizard, as well as a Life Stealer in hand. Which one is he going to sacrifice? I would want him to keep maybe the Life Stealer and just keep putting beef on the board. Energy decks have a hard time dealing with just a giant pile of 5 health units. It's just really difficult to kill them all. Oblivion Seeker is also an option, though maybe that should be saved for next turn when that combat damage is looking to come in. Life Stealer might be my play, but Oblivion Seeker is a strong play too. Notice how he moved up to go ahead and contest, so that's a brave move. Risking some sort of trick by Raytional. He does have resources, note, for a Stormrunner Bombard Machinated combo. I don't know how many of each he has left in the deck, but now's the time to draw it if you're going to draw it, because this is a world of hurt coming in. Strong Scrolls in hand. Burn. This might be one of the rare times where Burn actually gets sacrificed. All it can kill is the Oblivion Seeker, and that's what we see. It is sacrificed. Has that Bombard. It doesn't affect the Ironclad Reaver. Could affect Canonetta. But Raytional moves his units to the top, defends the Forge. He's just going to have to weather this storm. That's the only choice he has right now. With that armor, currently the Tempest Reaver would survive an attack by the Witch Doctor. So Raytional not actually committing very much to the board. He's going to pump out 2 more gun autos. He could play out a 3rd Forge. He's still got 6 resources, a 3rd Forge, and a Canonetta. So there's the Forge played out behind. And won't see Bombard here, I'm sure, but Canonetta comes down. So quite a lot on the field for Raytional. Darkwizard is going to kill a lot of it this turn, though. Especially, Cluster Hex. That's actually a really, really nice draw. If he plays that out, he curses all this stuff. So that's going to lead to the death of the Tempest Reaver. It's going to lead to the death of this gun auto, to the death of this gun auto. Won't kill this back auto Forge from what I see. But that was a really, really nice Cluster Hex. Can follow it up with a Rot Eater or an Infectious Blight or a Languid. Maybe Languid or Infectious Blight played out on this Reaver would be a decent play. Or maybe just Rot Eater played out in the middle of everything. Because he doesn't really care if he loses either of these front 2 units. And in fact would probably like to lose the Oblivion Seeker. But actually goes ahead and plays out Languid on the Ironclad Reaver. So currently Raytional is just going to lose a bunch of stuff and not be able to kill anything of Darkwizard's. Okay, what can he do? What can he do here? What can be done? Oculus Cannon Machinated, so that's a start. They don't combo with each other, but Oculus Cannon's excellent with Bombard. Currently wouldn't do well, let's see. 4 and 2. Couldn't quite kill the Witch Doctor unless he does Cannon Bombard Machinated. And that's, well, there's the cannon. Will we see the Bombard come down? Has the resources for it. He might want to save the Bombard Machinated for a slightly bigger combo. Stormrunner Machinated Bombard would have been absolutely devastating for Darkwizard, who did clump up again. But Raytional can't totally punish that, but he can take out this one of the Witch Doctors at least. It's just quite a card investment. But it doesn't look like that's what he's going to do. Instead, just plays out another Ironclad Reaver and lets the Oblivion Seeker get an attack off. Darkwizard has 5 drops, a plenty, sacrifices the Lifesealer for Bloodline Taint and Ripper. Could hit 3 of these humans or could hit all of these forges with the Bloodline Taint. Could do it on the artillery to take that out, but I don't think that's what he wants to do. I don't think Raytional runs Furies in his deck, so there's no way these Reavers are going to be attacking next turn. So Darkwizard just needs to worry about Bombard combos from the hand. Infectious Blight comes down, so that's going to tick away for 2 damage a turn, and it's actually going to kill it next turn with the attack off the Oblivion Seeker right away. So that's a nice play. That'll get that spreading. Rot Eater comes down as well. Interesting placement on that. I actually think that's concerning because it can just be killed right away. Violent Dispersal for Raytional. So he's got 3 strong scrolls in hand. Has to decide what to keep and what to get rid of. Does get rid of the Violent Dispersal. Doesn't find a Stormrunner. He has a second Bombard. The Bombard was hiding at the bottom of the deck. So he must have gone through all 3 Stormrunners, and I didn't see the third one. So without Violent Dispersal, he can't pick out one of the Witch Doctors from the middle of the pack, which would have been nice. But he can at least, he can do an Elder Bombard Mash. No, he can't do all 3. Elder Bombard if he wants. He could do a Machinated play with the Canonetta. Let's see. I don't think that would do enough damage though, because those damned husks would spawn. So it would take that out, spawn a husk, which would take the 7 damage, and only 3 damage would go to this Witch Doctor. Not quite enough. If the Canonetta was, well, that it wouldn't even do. That husk is just from the Witch Doctor, just so strong, so very strong. If the Reaver was ranged, he could do quite a bit more with this attack. But looks like he's just spawning out some gun autos this turn. Spawns 3 of them. Just going to be, unfortunately, content to kill a husk and deal 1 damage to this Witch Doctor. But guns aplenty, so next turn a Bombard play could be pretty devastating. And I don't think that Darkwizard can get quite back to the Canonetta, which is a key unit to have survived this round. Though with Bloodline Taint, I bet he can make it happen. Though it would cost him the Infectious Blight. Actually, Bloodline Taint comes down on the Forge, so those are all weakened. Or not weakened, but cursed. And still has 3 resources to play with. Sacrifices for Scrolls, finds Loyal Darkling, and Rot Eater. Note that this Rot Eater, just off the 1 unit death, and then the Husk is up to 5. 5 already. What's the play here? A lot of choices. Looks like he's defending his Witch Doctor, so he's not going to be able to kill the Canonetta, but he is able to stack the board, takes out some gun autos, and this will kill the Ironclad Reaver off the Infectious Blight. So well done there. Raytional really wants that Stormrunner right now. Oh man, that would be such a big play. Would take out so many of these units. That would be game swinging. Does not find it. He's looking for it and can't find it. So what can he do here? He still has Bombard Machinated, so that's nice. But it's not enough. It's just not enough to get that kill on the Witch Doctor. He can Violent Dispersal one of the Witch Doctors if he wants. And then follow that up with, well, nothing super impressive. No structures to kill with a Tick Bomb. Looks like he's maneuvering his Canonetta down. Does go ahead and play Machinated out on it. So this still doesn't kill the Rot Eater, because the Ripper will spawn a Husk. It would go up to 6 health and 7 health, and he's not getting 7 damage with that Canonetta. There's the Bombard. I don't think he's going to be super happy. And note that the Bombard does trigger the Witch Doctors and actually the Oblivion Seeker, so that's really important too. Raytional might stand to lose a lot from this play, unfortunately. Rot Eaters are so strong, Witch Doctors are so strong, that combined Husk dying is going to benefit everybody. Pumps down his Forge one, and here comes the attacks. This might unfortunately benefit Darkwizard more than it does Raytional. Here comes the Canonetta's big strike, but just not enough. Just not enough. So Darkwizard is going to deal some serious hurt this turn. Serious hurt. Has another Infectious Blight. Could play that on the Canonetta, so he doesn't even have to move a unit down to kill it. What I might do here is sacrifice for Scrolls first, and then Infectious Blight, move the Rot Eater down to take out the Forge. Oblivion Seeker takes out the gun auto, and then the Witch Doctors move up to take down both of these units. So that's going to be not the game necessarily. Raytional still has a big hand and still can do some nice combos to come back, but that's going to be tough to come back from. He does go up to 8 resources, so he can play out the both the Lifestealer and the Rot Eater. So here comes a massive attack triggered by that Bombard that Raytional played, and everything's dead. Everything's dead except for these two structures up here. Oh, actually, he didn't play the Infectious Blight, so that was a little bit different. I thought that was a key component of that play because a Bombard combo, especially if he's able to find Stormrunner this turn with this Canonetta as well, would be pretty devastating for Darkwizard. So a slight misplay, I think, there, letting the Canonetta survive. Finds the Stormrunner. There it is. So he doesn't have the Machinated anymore because, of course, he played it on the Canonetta. But Stormrunner Bombard with the Machinated Canonetta, oh, maybe it doesn't do as much as I was hoping. He can get some kills off of it. Note that there's no Witch Doctors around here. The Rot Eaters will benefit off of anything that dies, but no Witch Doctors. Has Violent Dispersal, has Burn, so could Storm 3/6 can't do Stormrunner Bombard Burn, but could go Gun Auto Stormrunner Bombard. The math is pretty crazy here. Stormrunner comes down, targets 4 units. Gun Auto comes down, targets the front unit, and there's Bombard. The Witch Doctors are going to get their attack off as well, and keeps everything where they're at. And that'll take out the Oblivion Seeker, pumps all the Rot Eaters, takes out the Lifestealer. So did some good work with that play. Though, unfortunately, with the Automaton Forge being cursed, Darkwizard can take out both of these structures if he chooses, or he can take out an idol. Has a lot of utility in hand, but no more strong units to play out. Could Malevolent Gaze on this Stormrunner, making it unable to move and position itself. The Canonetta will be dying. Looks like the Witch Doctors are going to go ahead and move up and take out both of these structures. I'm not sure what to tell Darkwizard to do with these units. Maybe a Languid comes down on the Stormrunner, and that's what we see. Draws into a Loyal Darkling, so that's at least something to play out. Maybe stick it right there in the middle so it'll trigger both Rot Eaters if it dies. Sickening Fumes is just a preventative measure, so any shenanigans that Raytional pulls is dramatically weakened. Note that there's 3 Harvesters left in this deck after the cycle that haven't come out yet. Raytional way behind on board now. Still has that Violent Dispersal floating, but there are so many targets for it. Pitches a Dust Runner, 2 Gravelock Elders, Spark, Burn, Violent Dispersal. Maybe Burn Elder is the way to go, but he would have to play that Elder behind and accept the loss of both of these units, which might be okay, frankly. The Burn would go on this Lifestealer. Has to do something, though, because he's going to just lose his idols if Darkwizard is allowed to keep all these units on the field. Spark comes down, so that will be enough to take out the big Rot Eater. Pumps the smaller Rot Eater up to 5/5, so smaller is used only relatively. It is definitely a large Rot Eater. Still has 3 resources to play with. Could get out another Stormrunner. Doesn't really have any other options. Just got to think about positioning. Darkwizard will be killing this Gun Auto or maybe dealing idle damage with the front Rot Eater. Doesn't want to move. Raytional doesn't want to move his units to the middle because that will put them in range of everything of Darkwizard that's attacking. So the Stormrunner is intelligently played behind. His other option was to play it in the middle, actually, but that risks any sort of tricks that Darkwizard might have. So there's a Harvester. Not too late to deal some serious hurt. Look at all the idle damage that's going to be coming. Darkwizard seems content just to deal that idle damage. Takes out the top idol. Will deal 8 damage to the middle idol, so the Loyal Darkling will finish that off and is threatening the 5 health idol, including with the Harvester. So Darkwizard nicely lets Raytional keep his units, but they're all cursed, they're all weak, and that's just a giant pile of stuff. We're going to need to see some serious Bombard Machinated plays of some sort. Triple Elder in hand. If he could get all 3 out, he might be able to do something, but could get 2, but that's not going to be near enough. Raytional needs a lot of units guarding his second idol, or it's just GG. Sacrifices the Violent Dispersal. Goes up to 10 resources, so we're going to see a double Elder play. The gun auto cannot move, but the Elders can. Played 1 and played 2. He doesn't defend that top idol, so it looks like he's willing to sacrifice it, but that's just going to be game because the Loyal Darkling is just going to sacrifice itself, and there's 2 damage. Combat damage comes in. Raytional just accepts that he has been defeated. Good game, Darkwizard, whose mid-range decay with lots of curse and utility is able to take out Raytional's mid-ranged ranged energy build. Well done, both players. This has been Smogan with Scrollscast. A little bit longer game today, but I thought it was a pretty good one. Interesting to see these 2 players go against each other with their different decks. You can subscribe to the Badger Guild YouTube channel for more Scrollscast. Thank you for watching.